This video is designed to teach you how to add or edit living expenses in your WealthVision site. Feel free to pause this video at any time so that you can follow along on your own site. Begin by going to the Peace Wealth Management website at www.peace-wealth.com. Then select Client Login at the top of the screen, followed by Login to WealthVision. Once you reach this screen, you will be able to type in your username and password in order to gain access to your WealthVision site. This is your WealthVision homepage that allows you to travel between all of the different parts of your WealthVision site. Right now, we are looking at a made-up client, Luke and Lynn Affluent's homepage. In order to add or edit your living expenses, select the Organizer button on the gray ribbon at the top of the screen. This is where you will go to edit any investments, family information, or, as we're about to do, expenses. Next, click the Income Expenses and Savings option to make changes to your living expenses. You will see your annual living expenses in the middle box entitled Annual Living Expenses. Here you can see the estimated amount of what you plan on spending each year. Next to the blue Add button on the Annual Living Expenses section, there is a button that reads Estimate from Spending. Luke and Lynn could select this button if their checking accounts or credit cards were connected to WealthVision in order to add expenses quickly. The Estimate from Spending button is tied to a checking account or credit card and tracks spending habits, how much and where you spend. If they were to select this button, a box will appear with all of their estimated expenses. Unfortunately, they are not able to edit expenses in this box, as this is something that is predetermined by the bank. They will need to click the blue Add button at the bottom of the box in order to add these expenses that appear in the list. And if there are expenses that do not appear in the list, then they will need to use the instructions later in this video and edit the types and amounts. We can see that Luke and Lynn Affluent currently spend $10,000 per year on Country Club and other memberships. If Luke and Lynn's memberships were to increase the following year, they would need to click where it reads Country Club and Other Memberships in blue. A dialog box will pop up that reads Edit Living Expense, and in this box they are able to change the type of expense and the amount. If Luke and Lynn wish to change the type of expense, they can click the gray box with the downward pointing arrow to select one of the pre-made categories for expenses, which include bills and utilities, kids, and pets. You can use these as a reminder of what some of your expenses are, but you're also able to type in your own category if it does not appear in the list by selecting the text, hitting the backspace on the keyboard, and then typing in the new name of the expense. Common categories that do not appear in the drop-down menu are clothes, dry cleaning, and restaurants. Because Luke and Lynn's membership fees are increasing, they will need to edit the amount of this expense. In order to change this, they would hover their mouse over the amount and click. This should allow them to type in the box in order to edit the amount. Remember, these amounts are based on what you spend annually in each category, so if you spend $100 per month on food, you would need to record $1,200 in the amount. Once they have edited this expense, they can click Done and all of their changes will be saved. Now, Luke and Lynn have decided to purchase a dog, which can require just as much money as attention. Because of this, they will need to add a pet living expense to their annual living expenses. In order to do this, they will click the blue Add button at the top of the Annual Living Expenses section. They will then follow the same instructions as if they were to edit an expense. They can type their expense category in the box or select the gray box with the downward pointing arrow to choose from pre-made categories, and then type in the amount by clicking the $0 sign. Once the type of expense and the amount are correct, they can click the Add button. This new expense will be added to Luke and Lynn's Annual Living Expenses section automatically. If they wanted to delete an expense that was no longer relevant, they would click the red X next to the amount of that expense. When prompted if they are sure if they would like to delete that expense, they would either select yes or no. If they selected yes, the expense would automatically be deleted, and selecting no will allow the expense to remain on their WealthVision site. We here at Peace Wealth Management hope that this tutorial was helpful in showing you how to input and edit expenses on your WealthVision site. If you have any questions or would like to set up an appointment, call us at 727-399-8990. Happy expense editing!